Thanks, Ryan. I don't think Red had his good stuff today, but he battled and did what we needed him to do. Anytime you get 7 shutout innings out of your starter, you're always happy. 8 strikeouts, no walks. So even though he did his best stuff, felt like he made some pitches when he needed to. Really happy with how Zach Johnson and Ben Shanowski threw the ball. 2 kind of freshman arms that, have bright futures here in the program. So it's good to see them go out there and go 6 up, 6 down. To end the game. Offensively, again, I thought we were a little flat today, which, maybe the schedule changed, the weather, spring break, guys are kind of having their last classes before spring break. So, wasn't a great day offensively for us, but top of the order got it done. Tommy Hawk was on base, 4 times today. Nick Kurtz, Brock Wilken had good days kind of behind him. So, when those 3 guys are rolling, you're usually going to find a way to score runs. So, take wins any way we get them, but we're going to certainly need to play better baseball tomorrow against a good Ball State team that's got a good right-hander going.
How good was it for your club to see a break in the weather to get this game in today, right? And the scheduling just has to lay out much better for everybody. That's quite right.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, if we had gotten washed today, we were looking at probably playing a 9 a.m. game tomorrow morning and then a 7:30 game tomorrow night, playing like a split doubleheader. Larry's probably had some of those back in the day, and those are kind of miserable for everybody. So glad it didn't come to that. So really, and I'm glad they got the first game in too, because Purdue, Fort Wayne, and Ball State both wanted to get 4 games this weekend. So this will enable them to do that too. So it was good to get we hit the window just right, because I think there's some heavy stuff coming in here shortly.
You've said to us many times after games already this season that you're not pleased or not completely satisfied with what the offense is doing so far. You've had back-to-back, there's been back-to-back Wake Forest players of the week. What else are you looking for from these guys to kind of turn the page and make you happy with what you're seeing?
Yeah, I think it's just more approach driven than anything. Like you saw today, just a bunch of fly ball outs. I mean, too many of our misses are still in the air. Now we have individuals that are swinging it well. Obviously, Tommy walked 3 times and hit a hard line drive to right field. And even his 1 out was a good swing, low and hard on the backside. So Tommy's at bats were good all day. I thought Kurtz's at bats were good all day. Brock's at bats were good all day. But, really other than that, I thought our at bats were super inconsistent today. And again, too many misses on the bottom of the ball. And, and again, some days at our park that plays, and some days like today, it doesn't. It's hard to hit a home run today. So we can't be a one-dimensional offensive team.
Got Reinish and Kurtz back early this week. Are they percent? Is anything nagging with them? Or are they like good to go?
No, they're 100%. I think Jake's pressing a little bit because he's gotten off to a little bit of a slow start, but I was encouraged by his at-bats today. Truthfully, he was on the backside of the field twice, was on the barrel 3 times. So, and walked once. So I felt like Jake's at-bats were better than the box score show. Like today was the first day, really even including before he went out, that I felt like he was in a good spot. So I think, I think we're going to start to see Jake Reinish heat up here like any day.
You get the sense at all that it's okay, we're 3/4 of the way through spring training, let's bring the real games on, let's get started with that opening day.
I think the guys feel that way. I mean, we're certainly looking at opening conference weekend, but as I reminded them out there in the huddle, I mean, we've got 3 games between now and then. We can't be looking ahead to Duke. We've got a big game against Ball State with, again, a really good, pitcher's only giving up 1 hit on the year. The guy they're starting against us tomorrow night, and his numbers last year were really good too. Guys that like averaging over 2.5 strikeouts an inning. So, we're going to have our hands full tomorrow night. So, we've got to come ready to play.
Given what he has produced so far this season, does it become easy to get your players' attention for tomorrow's game? Does that stand out enough that they're going to be locked in tomorrow at 5?
They'll be locked in tomorrow at 5. I have no doubt. I mean, I think this is our park, and they're not going to let anybody come in here and push us around, as the great Notre Dame football coach once said.
No sense of complacency. It's been pretty easy up to this point.
I mean, it has and it hasn't. But no, I don't think there's any sense of complacency. I mean, we started last year 11-0, and and then kind of got in the league that opening weekend and lost 2 out of 3 right out of the gate. So Lost to Coastal right before that. So lost 3 out of 4 after starting 11-0 last year. So again, these guys know that we haven't got into the crux of the season yet. And, we're still juggling the lineup around a little bit from time to time and trying to find the right kind of combinations.
The third starter pretty much locked in now in terms of it being Sean. Is that where?
Yeah, and I think it'll stay this order. At least in the short term, I think it's going to be Rhett, Sean, Josh, in that order. Yeah.
Anything on Zoom?
Kind of along the lines of what you were just saying a question ago. With you not being satisfied with the at bats and you're still winning games by lopsided margins other than earlier in the week, do you worry about kind of a wake up call coming at some point in the next couple games?
Yeah, I do. I worry about it every day. I worried about it today. For sure. I do think it's coming because, we've been getting walked a lot, and we certainly can't expect once we get into league play to be walking 8-9 times a game. And we've had a lot of games where we've had a ton of free bases given to us. And so, we're going to have to find a way to score runs when we're not given free bases. And it remains to be seen whether we're going to do that or not. Now, I know we have the ability to do it, and I think we'll get there. And I'm kind of happy that we're not firing on all cylinders right now offensively. Again, it's, that'll hopefully come here soon.
How do you guard against it, or do you guard against it, or do you just kind of, it's a 50 or 60 some game season. You're not going to go undefeated. You just kind of let it happen the way it's going to happen.
Well, again, we've just every day got to stick to our approach, again, and just, in practice every day and in pregame every day, just stay on these guys about staying with their approach again. And, the good news is I hear the guys saying the right things in the dugout. I mean, they're saying to each other, hey, we got to miss low. And they didn't do that today, but, sometimes that's hard. It's easier said than done when you're facing a guy that, you don't normally see. Somebody doesn't have the stuff that we're accustomed to seeing, even really in inter squad scrimmages. So for us, I think sometimes it's a little easy in those situations to go up there and try to do too much. But I have confidence in our guys that in the tight games and when things start to ramp up like they will tomorrow, we'll have a much better approach.
Larry, does the fact that he's more of an off-speed pitcher factor in at all? Because I mean, that often changes the bulk of his game. And you see a lot more guys in your conference, you see a lot more gas.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good fastball too. So he's got a good fastball and a Vulcan change. We're trying to make some decisions now. Left-handers, historically have a little better success against this guy, but it's close, and sometimes, against changeup guys, right-handers have better success against changeup guys. They just see it a little sooner. So, we're still kind of talking through some of those options for tomorrow, whether we're going to go a little more right-handed than typical tomorrow or not.
Connor, you good?